Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Desi TV USA. I am Tabinda Gul. Let's take a look at the headlines. Trump's Putin arrive in Alaska for talks on Ukraine ceasefire. Trump's Putin hold press conference after Alaska summit. Trump says no deal yet on key issues with Putin but optimistic. Trump Putin arrive in Alaska for ceasefire talks on Ukraine. Trump says he will not negotiate on behalf of Ukraine in talk with Putin. Ukrainians rally outside US embassy in Kyiv ahead of Alaska summit. Desi Mayor browser responds to Trump's crime crackdown. Over 160 killed in northwestern Pakistan's floods. Nearly 200 dead as torrential rains batter northwest Pakistan. And PM orders urgent relief for floods hit Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. These are headlines. Lead to news detail. Viewers, now the top story is here. US President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin arrive in Alaska for a high-profile meeting focused on a possible ceasefire deal in Ukraine. The historic summit aims to ease tension and explore diplomatic solutions to the ongoing conflict. Both leaders are expected to address security concerns, sanctions, and broader US-Russia relations. Now, President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin met in Anchorage for a historic summit, the first US-Russia meeting on American soil in 2 decades. At a joint press conference, both leaders discussed nuclear security, Ukraine, the energy corporations. Trump called it a step toward global stability, while Putin emphasized dialogue over confrontations. Despite differences on the NATO and sanctions, both agreed to continue talks later this year. Now, US President Donald Trump said he and Russian President Vladimir Putin did not reach an agreement on what he called probably the most significant aspect of their Alaska summit. However, Trump added there is a very good chance of reaching that point in the near future, stressing the importance of continued dialogue with Moscow. US President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin arrive in Alaska for a historic meeting aimed at discussing a possible ceasefire deal in Ukraine. The talks are seen as a critical step toward easing the conflict and improving US-Russia relations. Now, US President Donald Trump announced he would not negotiate on behalf of Ukraine during his meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin in Alaska. Trump emphasized that any decisions on the conflict must come directly from Ukraine, while the US role to encourage dialogue and support efforts toward peace.
Now I am American. I have citizen.
I still have my Salvadorian passport and now I have my USA passport. I am a citizen of the US.
Khi cầm cái hộ chiếu Mỹ, cô rất là tự hào mình là công dân Mỹ.
La ciudadanía para mí significa oportunidades.
Si ya tienen el tiempo que pueden hacerse ciudadanas, que lo hagan.
No pierde nada uno con intentarlo.
Como dicen en México, echándole ganas, todo se puede.
Viewers, Ukrainians gather outside the US embassy in Kyiv ahead of the Trump-Putin summit in Alaska, calling for global attention to the plight of the thousands of prisoners of war still held in Russian captivity. Demonstrators urge Washington to press Moscow for their release and to ensure that humanitarian concern remains central to the high-level talks on Ukraine's future. Now, Washington, D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser spoke to the media, voicing concern over federal intervention in the city's policing amid the Trump administration's crime crackdown. Now, officials said more than 160 people were killed in the last 24 hours as heavy rains and flooding devastated northwestern Pakistan. Rescue teams are working to reach stranded families, while authorities warn the death toll could rise further. Now, local officials said nearly 200 people were killed as torrential rains caused widespread flooding in northwest Pakistan. The severe weather also brought down a rescue helicopter, complicating ongoing relief operations in the disaster-hit region. Viewers, in the last, Prime Minister Mohammad Shahbaz Sharif directed NDMA and federal authorities to urgently dispatch tents, medicines and food supplies to flood-affected areas of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. He instructed that stranded residents and tourists be moved to safe locations on priorities. The PM expressed sorrow over the loss of lives, assuring full federal support to the provisional government for rescue and relief operations. So viewers, thank you for watching and thank you for supporting. This is me, Tabinda, signing off. Stay tuned for more news. DCTV USA, DTV and another OTT platform, DTV Flex, where you can access 2 or 3,000 channels. So stay tuned and stay with us.
Now I am American. I have citizen.
I still have my Salvadorian passport and now I have my USA passport. I am a citizen of the US.
Khi cầm cái hộ chiếu Mỹ, cô rất là tự hào mình là công dân Mỹ.
La ciudadanía para mí significa oportunidades.
Si ya tienen el tiempo que pueden hacerse ciudadanas, que lo hagan.
No pierde nada uno con intentarlo.
Como dicen en México, echándole ganas, todo se puede.
Neurological care is a pressing healthcare challenge in Pakistan. That's why Helping Hand USA is building Kind R, a world-class hospital with 130 plus clinics that is set to establish new standards for neurological care in Pakistan. As the first phase nears completion, anticipation is growing for the launch in the second half of 2025. Give zakat and sadaqah through Helping Hand USA today and join this historic endeavor to redefine future healthcare in Pakistan.